Crazy experience and very, very frightening. It's like, are we safe?
In New York, here's ABC's Faith Abube.
The rampage unfolded during morning rush hour Tuesday. Witnesses say a subway passenger wearing a neon green construction helmet and vest put on a gas mask, set off 2 smoke bombs and opened fire.
I saw a lot of people coming out of the train station. One of them was injured. I believe it was a lady getting shot right on her leg.
Police say the attacker fired 33 shots with a semi-automatic handgun, wounding 10 people before the gun jammed, which they say likely saved people's lives.
The man they are searching for is 62-year-old Frank James. Police say he rented a van that was found near the shooting scene in Brooklyn. Another major storm moving across the country overnight. Judge David Blackburn in Bell County, Texas.
Large trees uprooted, overturned, stripped. Buildings really reduced to rubble at many locations. Again, power lines, power poles scattered all over the place. It's pretty devastating.
An April blizzard hitting parts of North Dakota as well. President Biden redoubling U.S. efforts to help Ukraine as he says Russia's president is guilty of genocide.
The president no longer pulling any punches in labeling the mass killings in Ukraine.
I called it genocide because it's become clearer and clearer that Putin is just trying to wipe out the idea of even being able to be a Ukrainian.
President Biden insisting Ukraine must win this war against Russians murdering civilians there. Andy Field, ABC News, Washington.
Oklahoma's Republican governor signing a law that makes it a felony to perform an abortion, punishable by 10 years in prison and a $100,000 fine. You're listening to ABC News.
Ew, Dad, why are toenails so ugly and yellow?
Hey, it's James, and if you're like me and suffer from toenail fungus, please pay close attention. Let's face it, toe fungus is embarrassing. I was afraid to take my socks off and hid my yellow and crumbly toes from everybody. But nail fungus isn't just a cosmetic problem. It can also be dangerous. Even a small spot can spread and get worse. But no matter what I tried, it seemed like my fungus would never go away. Then I discovered Crystal Flush, the new FDA-registered at-home treatment. This unique two-step system flushes out fungus at its source and reverses damaged nails. Finally, me and thousands of others are free from fungus. And you can be too. Call now, and for a limited time, you can try Crystal Flush risk-free for 30 days. Call 800-764-9219. That's 800-764-9219. Eliminate your toe fungus once and for all, guaranteed. Call now, 800-764-9219, or visit crystalflush.com.
Search teams in the Philippines looking for dozens of people still missing after heavy rain set off deadly mudslides. The death toll now at least 56. A federal judge says 2 men accused of posing as Homeland Security agents can be allowed out of jail ahead of their hearing. The 2 are accused of giving thousands of dollars worth of gifts to Secret Service agents. For the second time in a matter of months, New York needs a new lieutenant governor.
Brian Benjamin resigned just hours after his arrest Tuesday in a federal corruption investigation. He's accused of obtaining contributions for a state Senate campaign from a real estate developer in exchange for funding for a nonprofit the developer controlled. Governor Kathy Hochul issued a statement saying it's clear Benjamin cannot continue to serve as lieutenant governor and that New Yorkers deserve absolute confidence in their government. The scandal comes less than a year after former Governor Andrew Cuomo resigned over allegations of sexual harassment. Daria Albinger, ABC News, New York.
More people may be flying, but Delta Airlines says it still lost nearly $1 billion in the first quarter of the year. Delta's new CEO now says over the last 5 weeks, booking on the airline is the strongest they've ever seen, however. And Panera is trying out a barista that would never get tired. The company testing a robotic system that serves up its coffee. The company behind the brewing system has already made machines that cook up French fries at White Castle and tortilla chips at Chipotle. This is ABC News.
Millions of people use Zoom Phone, the innovative and feature-rich cloud phone system for businesses of any size. Zoom Phone is simple to use, whether you're on a mobile device, desktop, laptop, or desk phone. And because every call is important to your business, Zoom Phone was built with reliability in mind, using geographic redundancy to keep your communications online. Empower your workforce with Zoom Phone. Visit zoom.com/phone system. Zoom, how the world connects.
I'm Sherry Preston, ABC News.
It's the time of year to come to NC Tractor for the selection of Massey Ferguson tractors and Bobcat zero-turn mowers. NC Tractor gives fantastic customer service, the best discounts possible, and it's a locally owned business. NC Tractor on Railroad Avenue is helping to make outdoor work more enjoyable. Should you have something that you can be proud of for a long time? Massey Ferguson and Bobcat zero-turn mowers. Come look them over. 299 Railroad Avenue, Rutherford. That phone number is 288-0395. And be sure to join us on this Saturday, for a live remote broadcast from Customer Appreciation Day at NC Tractor. Gilbert Carmona will be doing his hour 8 to 9 out there live on Saturday, and we'll pick up the broadcast following that. There'll be some free food, prizes to win and give away. It's going to be a great day if you'll join us for Customer Appreciation at NC Tractor on Saturday, this coming Saturday.
This afternoon, we'll make it into the low to mid-80s with a lot of cloud cover around and breezy conditions on tap. Today will be a lot similar to yesterday. We have a small chance of seeing a few isolated showers. Anything that does develop this afternoon will be quick movers. By tomorrow, showers possible early, showers and thunderstorms by the afternoon and evening, and some could be severe with a cold front moving through. A meteorologist, Peter Sherwood, in the Weather Center.
We're looking forward to Easter's weekend. Looks like Saturday is going to be kind of nice for us for Easter weekend. Highs around 76 and partly cloudy. Northwest wind to 7 miles per hour, gusting up to 16 miles per hour on Saturday. Then Saturday night, lows around 49. But here comes the rub on Sunday, Easter Sunday. Looks like there may be some isolated thunderstorms. About 30% chance of that on Sunday, with highs around 75 and light wind. Then Sunday night, partly cloudy with scattered showers and isolated thunderstorms. Lows around 54 with a chance of precip about 30%. Other than that, today is looking pretty good for us. Partly cloudy with highs around 79 with wind gusting today about 22 miles per hour. That wind is a factor for us here even in May. April showers is what we're expecting. We had March wind, and the March wind continues to blow, and then we have April showers and hopefully a whole lot of Mayflowers coming up. Well, we're happy to report this morning there are no death announcements. First time in a while that we've not had any, and we thank goodness for that. So no death announcements this morning here at WCAB. When they arrive in, we will certainly pass those on to you, but right now there are none. Do have a couple of updates I want to give you, though. Keep this at the top of the mind. It's important things to keep in mind from our bulletin board. This Birdies for Babies golf tournament is going to be Saturday, April 23rd. Now, you still can check in on this. If you have not yet made your decision, you can make checks payable to Hands of Hope for Life and check with them on Turner Street, 124 Turner Street. Registration and sponsorship payments can be made online. Registration fees include green fee, card fee, dinner, and a chance to win some great prizes, and going to a good cause, Hands of Hope. There at it's going to be at Meadowbrook in Rutherford. If you have any questions on that, you call 247-4673, 247-4673. This is down the road a ways, but give you a heads up on this. Go ahead and mark it on your column to those of you who like these rummage sales. The Foothills Pilot Club of North Carolina, the annual rummage sale is going to be May 7th, 7 a.m. until 12 noon at First Wesleyan Church, South Church Street, Forest City. The projects include adult daycare parties, caregiver recognition, Christmas candy canes, Church of the Exceptional, Grandparents' Day, law enforcement support, Peter Davis Scholarship, and Project Lifesaver. Those are the projects the Pilot Club works with, and you can help them with attending this rummage sale May 7th at First Wesleyan Church there in Forest City. Veterans will want to know there's coffee and conversation at the Veteran Service Office April 21st, 9:30 until 10:30. Come join us for our monthly social events, Coffee and Conversation, 9:30 till 10:30, April 21st at the Veterans Service Office. And you're always welcome. If you're a veteran, come by and take part of that. Well, the Braves won last night over the Nationals 16-4. Now they have an afternoon game. They switch it from nighttime to daytime, and this afternoon game starts just a little afternoon. First pitch is 12:15, and we'll have that action for you. Be sure to join us throughout the season. Follow the Braves and cheer them on to another great year of victory. Maybe they'll be national champions one more time. Here's Bill O'Reilly, Morning Update.
Bill O'Reilly here, and I'm warming up. Stand by for the O'Reilly Update Morning Edition. But first, AMAC is the leading conservative advocacy and benefits organization. AMAC gives you access to exclusive benefits, insightful news, and a magazine full of uncensored content. They are pushing back against efforts to defund the police, weaken the borders, and corrupt our youth. But they need your help. Please stand with AMAC at amac.us. That's amac.us. On this Wednesday, Passover and Easter coming up this weekend, but tens of millions of Americans don't really care because to them, religion does not matter at all, and some despise organized religion. So the question becomes, is secularism a bad thing? If you don't like religion, if you ignore religion, is that a negative? The answer to the question? It could be. Some secular people are excellent. I know many of them, and they do very good things. But others are greedy and self-absorbed. But wait, some religious people are excellent, but others are greedy and self-absorbed as well. The difference is this. With religion, organized or otherwise, there is a belief in a higher power. It is not all about the individual person. And the higher power discourages selfish pursuits, bad behavior. That is why religion is tempering horrible conduct in many places. Some secularists don't buy that, but it's true. If you look at the doctrine of Christianity, for example, harming your neighbor is a grievous sin. I say, if we all loved our neighbor as ourselves, this would be a much better world. Now this. Did you know that cars today have more tech than the first spaceship? Something's guaranteed to break. That's why you need CarShield. When you need a repair, you can choose the mechanic, and CarShield gets the rest taken care of. Plans through CarShield even provide rental car options, roadside assistance, trip reimbursement, all at no extra cost. So get covered today and save 10%. Please go to carshield.com/bill or call 800-391-8888. A deductible may apply. That is the Morning O'Reilly Update. More analysis later on.
If you could be at a place that served you hot dogs, drinks, chips, and give away free prizes, you'd want to be there, right? Then come on out to NC Tractor Saturday, April 16th for Customer Appreciation Day. The fun starts at 8 o'clock with Gilbert Carmona broadcasting his show live from NC Tractor. Come meet Gilbert in person at NC Tractor at 8 o'clock. Then at 9 o'clock, the WCAB crew will pick up the broadcast till noon with drawings for door prizes, caps to give away, and Phil Sheehan and his team will be serving hot dogs. And Phil says come on over Saturday, April 16th for Customer Appreciation Day at NC Tractor, the home of Massey Ferguson, 299 Railroad Avenue, Rutherfordton.
This is Gerald Willis, attorney with the Arledge Law Firm in Rutherfordton. I want to publicly commend Jim Bishop, Lou Gillum, Tracy Hauser, and the entire WCAB staff for their effective and fruitful advertising program. My law firm, the Arledge Law Firm in Rutherfordton, began advertising with WCAB almost 2 years ago, and I am happy to report and confirm that our regular radio ads with WCAB have generated plenty of calls to our law firm to retain our various legal services. The economic benefit we have received from our advertising with WCAB makes the reasonable cost of advertising with WCAB well worth it. So, take it from me, Attorney Gerald Willis with the Arledge Law Firm. Advertising with WCAB pays big dividends. I encourage all my fellow business people in Rutherford County to promote their businesses by advertising with WCAB.
Hey, bosses, listen to me. It's time to nominate your secretary or administrative assistant in the annual WCAB Secretary's Day promotion. Send her name and the company name to WCAB no later than April 25th. You can send it via fax to 828-287-7182 or email it to me, Jim Bishop, at nctv.com, or mail it to the Post Office Box 511 Rutherfordton 28139, or bring it by the studio at 191 Whiteside Road, Rutherfordton. The drawing will be taking place during the morning show April 27th. The selected 10 will go to lunch with me on Friday, the 29th, and showered with flowers and gifts. She's counting on you, boss. Don't disappoint her.
Edward Cash was a hard-working rancher with a wife who lived in the southeastern part of Texas. Although he wasn't necessarily handy with a gun, he was handy with his fists, and his ability to intimidate people was an asset to his ranching business. This was because Cash worked hard at acquiring cattle one at a time from his neighbor's stock. It was virtually impossible to prove Cash as the thief because he was successful at getting rid of the stolen cattle. And his neighbors really didn't want to confront Cash based on just their suspicions. That is, they didn't want to confront Cash until the evening of April 9, 1894. On this particular evening, Cash's wife was in labor, and the doctor and a couple of women were at his home assisting with the delivery, when the door crashed open and 7 armed and masked men entered the room. The masked men tied up Cash and led him outside to an oak tree in his front yard. A rope was thrown over the limb, one end was put around Cash's neck, and they pulled him off the ground. When it's properly done, hanging a man breaks his neck. When it's improperly done, the rope strangles him, and Cash was improperly hanged. Showing their lack of compassion, Cash's neighbors waited until he had died of strangulation, and then each of them put a bullet in him. It's not known what happened to his wife, the doctor, or the 2 midwives, but evidently they chose not to pursue the matter because no one was ever arrested for the lynching. Oh yes, the event caused an end to the stolen cattle in the area. You've just heard another story from Old West Radio. I'm Dakota Livesay.
Jesse James Railroad Express has added 2 new sandwiches to their menu. Try the all-new crispy chicken sandwich with lettuce, tomato, and mayonnaise, or the crispy deluxe with lettuce, tomato, mayonnaise, bacon, and cheese. Enjoy a refreshing milkshake or a hand-dipped ice cream cone. Open Monday through Saturday, 11 a.m. until 4 p.m. Closed Wednesday and Sunday. Jesse James Railroad Express, 531 Railroad Avenue in Rutherfordton. Call 828-447-4644. Mondays only, hot dog with mustard, chili, and onions for only $1.24 each. All aboard the Jesse James Railroad Express.
Congratulations to Jesse James Railroad Express, voted 2021 Best of Rutherford County hot dogs and hamburgers 5 years in a row.
Let's start first this morning with 911 Communications Center report. And Amanda, I believe, is on the phone with me right now. Good morning. How you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
How you doing this morning?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Good. What's on the report?
In the past 24 hours, the Rutherford County Sheriff's Office 911 Communications Center has processed 498 911 calls and administrative calls, which consisted of 52 for the emergency medical services, 137 calls for the Sheriff's Office, 73 for Forest City, 3 for Lake Lure, 39 for Rutherford, and 30 for Spindale. Ballstick Fire Department had a motor vehicle crash. Cliffside had a vehicle fire. Cliffside also had a structure fire assisted by SDO Sandy Mush and Ellenboro, and Hudlow had a motor vehicle crash, and that is all.
Thanks so much for that report. We'll see you next time.
Alrighty.
All right, bye. You know, nothing strikes fear in the hearts of people more than receiving an IRS audit letter in the mail. Audits take much time away from your business and family, requiring you to gather mounds of records, and can become overwhelming unless you have someone you can depend on to take care of that for you. That's why we can recommend IE Accounting and Tax Service. Chris and his team of professionals are in the business to help. Even if you depended on someone else to prepare your taxes, IE Accounting and Tax Service will be glad to assist you or your company. Don't hesitate to call. As a small business owner, you have more important things to do than keep your own books. Why not let IE Accounting and Tax Service take care of that for you so you can get back to the job of running your business? Consider their payroll solutions for your business, cash flow management, litigation support, and forensic investigation. Why not give them a call and see what they can do for your business? Here's that phone number, 828-395-1777. They're at 211 West Main Street, Spindale. Again, that's 395-1777, and it's spelled Aryee. Now we'll check in with the Danieltown SDO Fire District. Ruby Taylor is there to give us the report. Good morning.
Good morning.
What's on your report today, Ruby?
They assisted Cliffside on a structure fire. And on my birthday calendar, I've got Kent Baldwin, Mary Buchanan, Jolene Johnson, and Ethel Godfrey having birthdays today. Hope they have a nice day, and the signs are in the boughs today and going to the rains tomorrow. Jim, that's all I've got.
Thanks, Ruby. You have a wonderful day.
You too.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
No one answered at the Sheriff's Department squad room this morning. We'll check back with them in just a little while to get the report from the Sheriff's Department. Right now, though, let's turn our attention to getting better health and not paying so much for it and not having the hassles. Imagine that. Quality primary health care and urgent care service for you and your family without the hassles. It's available from Brock Family Care. Family medicine the way it ought to be. No insurance to deal with. General primary medical care, chronic disease prevention and management, urgent care, medication management, and so much more. They do such a great job over there. And I know you'll be tickled to death not have to all that hassle and know that you don't you got somebody that's going to care for you. Their staff are dedicated in providing health care that's patient-centered, giving the patient the time and the attention you really need. They do a great service for you. And they also have telemedicine if you're interested in that. Not accepting any forms of health insurance makes it easier on you. Cuts the hassles and cuts the time allotment for getting service that you need. It may be time to move into this health plan like this one for your family or your business. Contact Brock Family Care. Ask them all the questions you want to ask them. Maybe go to the website at brockfamilycare.com or give them a call at 382-7782 and ask all the questions you want to ask about their quality service and how easy it is for you and your family to get top care. Well, let's check in now up at Fairfield Mountains Fire District. Gary Wilson, how you doing this morning?
Doing pretty good. How you doing, Jim?
Doing pretty good.
Had a little shower or two yesterday, but wasn't too bad a day after all. Got some sun out yesterday afternoon. Going to have a good day today. Looks like going to be up about to upper 70s. So.
Yeah, I believe we're going to have a summer-like day.
And then about this weekend, it's going to turn cooler again, sound like.
Yeah, it looks like Easter Sunday's going to be a little wet possibly, but that's okay. We've been there, done that.
Yeah, better than having snow and 30 degrees. That's
Boy, that's
sure.
something, yeah.
We've had that in April before, too, a couple of times. But
yes.
I think we're getting a little late in the month now to get that, so we'll just settle for some good sunshine this weekend. Hope everybody have a good Easter. And we've been quiet up here overnight. Bill Creek ran one call yesterday, and sitting on about 55 degrees this morning, and had a little bit of rain yesterday helped dampen things down a little bit, and we'll have a pretty warm day today. So hope everybody go out and make it a good one. Be careful this weekend. Be a lot of people on the roads coming in, so a lot of Easter will jump off to the season up here, I guess. So that'll get us started for the summer.
Be a lot of traffic this weekend.
They will. But just take your time and go, be safe and enjoy your Easter. And hope everybody has a good one. Hope you have a good one, Jim.
Thanks, Gary. Talk to you again next time.
All right, we'll see you then.
Bye.
Thinking about the departure of a loved one through death is a subject we don't like to talk about. However, pre-planning or prepaying for a funeral is a consideration and responsible thing to do. With so many options available today, it's important to speak with someone you can trust and someone who can help you find a balance between the emotional, spiritual, and financial needs of your loved ones. Crow's Mortuary and Crematory is recognized as one of the best family-run funeral homes. It's a family tradition, and they know how to care for your family. Any questions you might have, they will be happy to answer. Call Crow's Mortuary and Cremation Services at 286-2304.
Now it's 7:24. Let's head back over to the Sheriff's Department. We have Sergeant Brendel on the phone with me right now to give us an update from that department. Good morning. How are you doing?
Good morning, sir. I'm doing pretty good. How about yourself?
Doing pretty good. Glad we're able to make contact with you this morning.
Yeah, I apologize. We're having some telephone difficulties this morning and noticed you hadn't called yet, so I was checking in with you.
Good. I appreciate that. Yeah, there's all kinds of telephone problems all over the area, so maybe they'll get that worked out.
Yes, sir.
Tell us what's been going on.
Past 24 hours, the Rutherford County Sheriff's Office has answered 137 calls, processed 14 arrests, and currently have 176 incarcerated. Under our arrest reports, we have a Coral Hudson, 44-year-old white female of Boston, was charged with first-degree trespassing and misdemeanor larceny, given a $500 unsecured bond. We have a Jamie Harrison Airwood, 36-year-old white male of Morrisboro, was charged with breaking and entering and larceny after breaking and entering, given a $20,000 secured bond. We have a Carlos David Steep II, 36-year-old white male of Boston, was charged with burning personal property and assault on a female. Given no bond on that, he'll see district court judge today. And we have a Robert Gene Sisk, 33-year-old white male of Far City, was charged with one count of felony larceny of a motor vehicle, given a $20,000 secured bond. We have a Brandy Mode from Lookout Drive in Far City reported a breaking and entering and larceny. Looks like someone broke in her residence and took a fish tank and the stand that goes with it. And we have a Jacqueline Carpenter from Hornbottom Road in Far City reported a breaking and entering. No items listed at this time. I think are pending inventory. So, and that's all we have this morning.
All right, Sergeant Brundle, thank you very much for that report, and you be safe out there today. We look forward to talking to you again real soon.
Sounds good, sir. You take care. Thank you.
Bye-bye. That's the Sheriff's Report, 727, and we'll get to our next phone call right after this.
Farm Bureau Insurance doesn't hire celebrities to push auto coverage. We think people might like to make decisions based on service and savings, not just because that guy from that show says it's a good idea. Instead of faces you know from your TV, we offer faces you know from your neighborhood, because we're headquartered in North Carolina with local agents right in your town. That's really the only thing we want to be famous for. North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance, helping you is what we do best.
In Rutherford County, please call 287-2428.
North Carolina Farm Bureau Mutual Insurance Company, Farm Bureau Insurance of North Carolina, Inc., Southern Farm Bureau Life Insurance Company, Jackson, Mississippi, an independent licensee of the Blue Cross and Blue Shield Association.
Nobody gets a better deal than the customers at Sisk Family Ford. They have a proven record of the best deals. Sisk Family Ford, Rutherford County's only locally owned new car dealer, has recently been recognized as the #1 Ford dealer in customer satisfaction in the Southeast. That speaks well of their commitment to serve their customers well. Look for all the new design 2021 F-150 at Rutherford County's only locally owned new car dealership. That's Sisk Family Ford, Oak Street, Forest City. Well, it's Bostic time, and here is DeVern on the radio to talk to us. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you this morning?
I'm well and happy. How are you?
I'm well and happy also.
Good. Tell us what's going on over there.
Okay, it's 60 degrees over here, here in Bostic this morning. The train ran at 7:23 just a few minutes ago. Fire department responded to a car accident, and they also partnered up with Cherry Mountain and did some training last night. There's an Easter egg hunt at 11 o'clock Saturday at Glenwood Baptist Church there on Boston Sunshine Highway. And there's Easter baskets to be given away Saturday at 10 a.m. at Faith Baptist Church in Forest City. And everyone have a wonderful day and get ready for Good Friday.
DeVerna, thank you, and you have a good one as well, and we'll check back with you tomorrow morning.
Thanks.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Hey folks, you know, Farmer's Friend Feed Seed Supply is an amazing store. I can say that because they have what you need. From pet supplies to fire and ant killer to horse quality Timothy alfalfa hay, $14 per bale. Attention carp fishermen, they have C&J flavoring, only $8 per bottle. And they have oats for sale. Refill your propane tanks at the lowest price. Fully stocked with all your deer supplies and a great selection of farm implements. Need mulch? $12 per scoop. We could call it a superstore. Farmer's Friend Feed Seed Supply, 188 Whiteside Road in Rutherfordton.
All right, now let's check in up at Hudlow Fire District. That's where our friend Bob Hodge lives and resides and keeps his eye on things for us. Good morning, Bob.
Well, good hump day morning.
It's a little cloudy out there, looks like.
Yeah, well, sun's look like might be coming up here in a little while. It's brightening up a little bit through the treetops this morning.
Good.
We had a little sprinkle of rain yesterday afternoon. Just come and went, just a few drops there. So, but looked like today's supposed to be a pretty nice day again. So, maybe we'll get some more of that sunshine after a while.
Yeah, we'll have some more of that wind, too. Wind gusting to about 22 miles per hour today, so that's still something we have to deal with.
Yeah, we've had a lot of wind this spring, haven't we? There,
Yeah, yes.
It seems like been a lot of windy days there. Let's see. With the fire department now, we had a fire investigation call, and then we had a vehicle accident call and a medical call. And Wilson Baptist Church is having their Easter egg hunt and a hot dog lunch this coming Saturday from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. And also their Easter sunrise service at Sunday morning at 6:30. And Jim, that's about it up here this morning, and I hope everybody have a good day today.
Thank you, Bob. I hope you do too, and we'll check in with you tomorrow. Have a good day.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bob Hodge reporting there from Hudlow Fire District, 731.
Your car's best friend can be RS Speedy Lube Service Center. That's because RS Speedy Lube Service Center and Car Wash can keep your car or truck running clean with a regular oil change. They check the fluids and vacuum out the car and have you on your way in no time. Go next door for a radiator or transmission flush, brakes, exhaust, CV joints, and service for big trucks and campers also available. Pull next door to the RS Speedy Automatic Car Wash and make your car happy with a clean, all under and all over car wash. It's all at RS Service Center and Car Wash on Railroad Avenue in Rutherfordton.
And now we're going over to the Cherry Mountain Fire District. Sue Price, how you doing?
Good morning, Jim. I'm doing good. Hope you are.
I'm well and happy today, so it's good to talk with you.
Good.
What's on the report over there?
Well, as far as I know, the fire department's been quiet. I think we had a training session last night, but no calls that I know of. And I don't have any birthdays or anniversaries on either one of my calendars again today. It's just nobody celebrating that I know of, but we hope anybody's having a birthday or anniversary will have a real good day on their special day. And in my announcements, the Duncans Creek Church will have their Easter worship service starting at 7:30, and then they'll have breakfast to follow. Let's see. Fairview will be having their sunrise service at 6:30 and breakfast to follow. And First Broad will be having their service at 7 a.m. Then they'll have breakfast, Sunday school, and then worship service at 10:30. So come on out to one of the churches and enjoy the Easter service. Special Sunday for Christians. So enjoy it. And I have a note that the Golden Valley Club meeting will not be held on the on the regular time. It'll be on the 25th. So keep that in mind, our Golden Valley Club. And also the club's going to be having a fundraiser on the 30th that will be having hot dogs and hamburgers. And it's for donations only. And so far, that's the only announcement I have. It's just quiet and calm over here. We're looking for a good day, and hope you'll have one, Jim.
Hope you have one too, Sue, and I'll see you tomorrow.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. 7:34. You can follow the elections with WCAB throughout the election. With the candidate subject to a primary, we'll be interviewing up to a point there. And then on election night, we'll have the complete coverage. Live broadcast as they count down the ballots and precincts, turn their votes in. We'll find out who is going to win this primary election. Now, in many cases, once the primary is over with, this is a done deal because for a lot of these seats, there were no Democrats who filed for these seats. So when the Republican who wins the primary will be the one going into office. We'll find out about all that closer into the election. Stay with us, lock it in at 100.9 FM, 590 AM, WCAB in Rutherfordton.
Cheryl, I've been talking to Tommy and David, the outside salesmen at Henson Building Materials in Forest City. They're going to help us navigate through our remodeling project.
Well, I know they have tons of experience, so we'll be in good hands.
Good hands is right. Even professional builders shop there because they trust the quality products and service.
And did you know they have a great relationship with our community, too? Oh, they're so nice.
Henson Building Materials, 177 Duke Street, Forest City.
Building starts here.
Now up to Shingle Hollow we go with the report microphone. And here we're talking right now to Tina. How you doing?
Welcome, welcome. I'm doing great this Wednesday morning. I am looking forward to the day.
Good for you. I like attitudes like that.
Well, up here in Shingle Hollow this morning, it is 58 degrees. The fire department didn't have any calls in the past 24 hours. Have a birthday for a very sweet lady, Miss Joyce White. That is my husband's aunt. Wonderful lady. If you know Joyce, call her and tell her happy birthday. Also have a birthday on my personal calendar for Todd Newton. He's a nurse that I worked with over at White Oak. So Todd, if you're listening, happy birthday to you too. If you know him, call him and tell him happy birthday. Pilgrim Way Baptist Church asked me to announce their special Good Friday service. It will be this Friday, April 15th at 10 a.m., and lunch will follow the service. There will be seven preachers preaching on the 7 sayings from the cross, and everyone is invited to come join in during this special day. This Saturday, on the 16th, from 12 to 2, Piney Knob Baptist Church is having an Easter bash, so they'll have we'll be hunting Easter eggs. There will be food for the kids, and I think the Easter Bunny might be coming by too. And then there will be an Easter sunrise service at most churches here, but at Piney Knob Baptist Church, they have asked me to invite everyone to come to their Easter sunrise service. It is at 7 a.m. this Sunday on the 17th, and there will be breakfast to follow the morning worship. And that's all I have right now.
All right. I appreciate you keeping your eye on things for us up there and being so positive and upbeat.
Well, I'll try to be.
Good. Well, have a wonderful day, and I'll check back in with you on Thursday.
Okay. Have a great day. Stay safe, and God bless you.
Thanks, Tina. Let me brag on Hutchins Pest Control a minute. Don't let the pest bug you when Hutchins Pest Control is as close as a phone call. Honest, dependable, professional, and on-time service may be the reason they keep getting voted best pest control. If you have a pest problem, call this family-run business at 287-5171. Licensed in North and South Carolina and fully insured and bonded. Get a free estimate when you call Hutchins Pest Control and be sure the job is done right. That's Hutchins Pest Control. Call them today at 287-5171 and they'll be right there. To win in sports, you must adjust your strategy as the game changes. The same is true of investments. Why not let Andrew Tisdale, your Edward Jones financial advisor, help you create a game plan for financial success? Call 828-287-9197 and get started today. That's Andrew Tisdale at Edward Jones Financial Advisor, 828-287-9197. Brenda Kelly up in Union Mills. Are you well and happy this morning?
I certainly am. How about yourself on this wonderful Wednesday morning?
I am well and happy on this wonderful Wednesday.
Every morning I can get up and get my feet on the floor and walk about, hey, is a good day.
That's what I'm talking about.
and I can do that. So that's good. But we hope everybody's having a good day. I don't have any birthdays or any anniversaries today, but in ways of announcements, Far City Church of the Nazarene is going to have an Easter sunrise service. This will be Sunday the 17th, 7 a.m., and breakfast to follow that. We will have preaching. We're not going to have Sunday school, but we'll have a preaching service after the breakfast, and then we'll have an Easter egg hunt for the children, and everyone's welcome to that. And then we got an Easter egg hunt Saturday to the 16th, 11 a.m. This will be at the Gilkey School Community Center, so you can bring your children out for that. And then we got a week-long Easter egg hunt in Union Mills. It started on April the 11th, and it'll go through April the 16th from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. This is a county-wide event for children under 12 years old. This is sponsored by the town of Rutherford, town of Spindale, Union Mills Learning Center, Rutherford Outdoor Coalition, and Broad River Water Authority. Candy-filled eggs will be hidden in various locations during the week. Please only hunt on one day in order to allow others to enjoy the activity. Union Mills locations will include Union Mills Learning Center, Union Mills Fire Department, Union Mills Community Club, Round Hill Baptist Church, Mount Pleasant CME Church, Thomas City United Methodist Church, and the Presbyterian Church. Eggs will be located around these buildings, but not in any cemeteries. And then on Saturday, April the 30th, at the Union Mills Learning Center, 9 a.m. to 2 p.m., Springtime at the Mills vendor event. Over 60 vendors will be on site with various crafts items. No admission, raffle tickets available for sale. And so far, that's all I got going on. But we got sort of busy.
A lot of activities at Easter time, and I'm so glad to hear that, see that happening.
And it's a lot of people think it's just Easter eggs and candy and stuff like that. But we have to remember it's a very serious holiday. This was the day that our Lord and Savior died for us sinners, that we could have eternal life.
That's exactly right. Monday, Thursday is tomorrow, then Good Friday, and then we have Resurrection Sunday on Easter Sunday morning.
That's right.
We need not ever forget that.
That's exactly right. And it's supposed to be raining on Easter Sunday morning?
It rains in the forecast right now, yes.
Do you know how much of a chance is it? Just
let's see. I believe it did say that. About a 30% chance. And
that's not too bad then, is it?
It's not, and that may be early morning, rather than during the church hours. I don't know yet, but 30% is not too bad. Light wind too, so pretty good day on Easter.
Yeah, well, if we have to go inside to have the sunrise service, that'll be all right.
That'll be all right. Done that many times.
Us too, and then we can go and eat.
Yeah, we can eat anywhere.
Good breakfast. But that's all I know of, so I guess you better go check on Luther and see if he's any better. We hope that he is.
We hope he is. You have a great day up there.
Okay, you too.
Thanks. Bye-bye. Brenda Kelly reporting out of Union Mills this morning at 7:42 right now, and we're going over to Ellenboro in just a moment. If you could be at a place that served you hot dogs, drinks, chips, and give away free prizes, you'd want to be there, right? Then come on out to NC Tractor Saturday, April 16th for Customer Appreciation Day. The fun starts at 8 o'clock with Gilbert Carmona broadcasting his show live from NC Tractor. Come meet Gilbert in person at NC Tractor at 8 o'clock. Then at 9 o'clock, the WCAB crew will pick up the broadcast till noon with drawings for door prizes, caps to give away, and Phil Sheehan and his team will be serving hot dogs. And Phil says come on over Saturday, April 16th for Customer Appreciation Day at NC Tractor, the home of Massey Ferguson, 299 Railroad Avenue, Rutherfordton. Now let's say good morning to Luther Gilligan. He's in Ellenboro. Hopefully he's able to talk a little better today. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing great. Having a good time down here.
Sound like you might be improving.
We're going to rain. Yep. But we're going to have a good time today.
Good.
It's good. But it's quiet right now. Let's see, fire department, they had 9 calls yesterday. Had 7 medical calls, 1 grass fire, and went down to Sister Cliffside on structure fire down there. But they could settle down last night about midnight, and everything been quiet since then. So they're doing good, and we're doing good. I'm going to remind everybody the yard sale coming up 7th of May. That'd be first Saturday in May, time-wide yard sale. Just come on out, set up on Depot Street if you don't want to set up in your yard. And find your place somewhere, but don't block the traffic. And this he won't remind everybody the Easter egg hunt down at Bethel Church be from 11 o'clock to 1 o'clock Saturday for all the kids to be having hot dog lunch and all that stuff. So all the kids in the community invited to just come out and have a good time there. And Jim, that's what's going on down here. You have a great day up there. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
Thanks, my friend. I'll see you then.
All right, take care now.
Luther Gilligan reporting out of Ellenboro with the news. 7:44 now, and time for birthdays and anniversaries. If you're celebrating your birthday today, this is the 13th of April. April 13th, call us now at 287-3356. 287-3356. We'll celebrate and give you a big shout out here on WCAB. 287-3356.
It can be a tough call when it comes time to provide a daycare service for an aging parent or loved one. You can always depend on Rutherford Life Services for a safe facility that offers medical monitoring, nutritional meals, fun activities, and is a loving environment. Rutherford Life is licensed by the State of North Carolina Division of Aging. They will be glad to answer any questions you may have. Call them at 288-1697. Rutherford Life Services offers a trained staff of professionals who you can entrust your loved one to. Rutherford Life Services is located at 230 Fairground Road in Spindale.
Well, let me ask you, are you an omelet lover? I do love omelets, and they've got good ones over there. It's Granny B's in Spindale, plain omelet, cheese omelet, western omelet served with cottage fried potatoes, choice of bacon, sausage patties, or links, ham, steak, also choice of 2 pancakes, biscuit or toast. Maybe you like French toast. They've got that, 3 slices, $3.45. Blueberry, strawberry, maple flavor syrup. You sides of gravy, sausage gravy, $1.60. Good food, good prices, and good people to do business with. That's Granny B's there in Spindale, serving breakfast from 6:30 till 11:30. Monday, make that Tuesday through Saturday. And remember, when you want your clothes looking good, smelling fresher, and you want to dress to impress with clean, pressed clothes, take them by Folks Cleaners. They do such a professional job for you, and they're just good people to do business with. Drive up to the window there. You don't even have to get out of your car. Drive up to the window, drop your clothes off, and they'll have them back for you in no time. That's Folk Cleaners. That's Rockwood Plaza. Todd, hit that theme song.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday wishes going out to Trudy Surratt, 73 over in Mooresboro. Darren Lane, 44, Spindale supervisor for maintenance at Rutherford County School. We'll wish Darren a happy. And Amy Harden is 53 today. Good morning, Amy. Hope you have a great day. Birthdays today include 1743 Thomas Jefferson. He was the 3rd U.S. president. 1866 Butch Cassidy was born. He died in 1908. Lyle Wagner, 1935, was born. He died 2020. Rick Schroeder, 1970 was his birth date, and he was an actor still living. Some of the events on today include the 1796 first elephant arrived in the U.S. from India. 1860, first Pony Express reaches Sacramento, California. 1954, Hank Aaron's first game was played. 1976, U.S. Federal Reserve begins issuing $2 bicentennial notes. And this is also National Peach Cobbler Day. I can go there. National Scrabble Day and National Thomas Jefferson Day. So now you're up to date on this date in history here on WCAB in Rutherfordton. Keys to Confident Living coming up next.
Have you ever worked in a church or club or community agency that nearly every time you asked for volunteers, people suggested someone else? Are you still trying to find that someone else? Well, you can keep on looking, but you won't find him. I saw in a church newsletter not long ago that someone else had died. A pastor communicated this sad news to his congregation, stating that one of their most respected and beloved parishioners was deceased. The pastor was concerned that Mr. Else's passing was going to leave a vacancy that he didn't know how they would fill. Someone had been with the organization for years and had always done far more than the normal volunteer. Else was always suggested when an important leadership position needed to be filled. If there was a class to teach, a meeting to attend, or a fund drive to organize, someone else was always mentioned. Almost everyone in the group knew that someone else was also the largest giver in the church, and if extra funds were needed, he could always be counted on. The pastor lamented that maybe too much was expected of someone else. Now that he is gone, the church wonders what they will do. Someone else left an excellent example, but who now will step into his shoes? Of course, the death of someone else is not true. He is still very much alive. He will be mentioned many times this week in various organizations. If it is any consolation, the Bible character Moses mentioned this same person thousands of years ago when he said, "Oh Lord, please send someone else to do it." This is Bill Hostler with today's Key to Confident Living.
If you could be at a place that served you hot dogs, drinks, chips, and give away free prizes, you'd want to be there, right? Then come on out to NC Tractor Saturday, April 16th for Customer Appreciation Day. The fun
From ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. New York City Mayor Eric Adams telling Good Morning America that officers are still looking for the man they want to question in regard to Tuesday's subway shooting.
We're still actively pursuing the person of interest, and we're asking all New Yorkers if they see something, not only say something, but do something, and that's notify the local authorities or call our tip hotline.
ABC's Amy Robach is at the 36th Street station in Sunset Park, Brooklyn, where 10 people were shot.
It was a horrific scene here in Brooklyn yesterday morning. At the height of the morning commute, a subway train pulls into this 36th Street station. Smoke fills the train, and then at least 33 gunshots rang out, leaving dozens of people on that train injured and bleeding. As you might imagine, those panicked commuters then rushing out of the train, many of them children on their way to school.
No one was killed. The man police want to question about it. 62-year-old Frank James is still on the loose. Inflation soaring to a new 40-year high in the U.S. Not just gas, but other staples people need, all costing more. Grant Thornton chief economist Diane Swank.
The things I worry most about is I look at these numbers and I see 10% gains in things like baby food. And when you talk about household paper products, which include, in some cases, things as simple as tissue and toilet paper.
The U.S. promising to send more weapons to Ukraine. ABC Chief White House correspondent Cecilia Vega.
Leaders from the 8 top U.S. weapons makers, companies like Raytheon and Lockheed Martin, they're going to be at the Pentagon today talking with officials about their ability to meet Ukraine's weapons needs. This is about long-term strategy, so that tells you about the conversations that are happening and the projections that are happening behind closed doors.
The presidents of Poland and 3 Baltic nations have arrived in Ukraine for talks with President Volodymyr Zelensky. The World Health Organization says that COVID numbers are down for a 3rd week in a row, but cautions there's less testing going on, which could be the reason for fewer cases. You're listening to ABC News.
Do you know what people see when they Google you? Search engines don't always get it right. And when they're wrong, it's your reputation on the line. So what do you do when you don't agree with your search results? Call Reputation Defender at 800-401-6681. Reputation Defender is one of the most trusted names in online reputation repair. We have over a decade of experience in fixing people's search results, and we can help you too. Using cutting-edge approaches, Reputation Defender pushes unflattering information down to lower pages of your search results, where few people ever look. We also promote the good stuff so that it rises to the top, letting you put your best foot forward. Your good name is too valuable to leave to the whims of a Google algorithm. You owe it to yourself to take control with Reputation Defender. Visit www.reputationdefender.com or call 800-401-6681 for free advice on your situation. That's 800-401-6681.
2 lawyers in former President Trump's White House now scheduled to speak to the January 6th committee. Sources tell ABC News former White House counsel Pat Cipollone and his deputy are both expected to testify today. Lawmakers in the South Dakota House voting for the first time in state history to impeach someone. Attorney General Jason Ravnsborg, the impeachment accusing him of committing crimes that caused someone's death in a 2020 car accident, then misleading law enforcement about it. A California woman who vanished on Thanksgiving Day 2016 only to reappear several weeks later claiming she had been kidnapped is now set to admit today that it was all a lie.
Her story never really added up, but it took years for the FBI to get enough proof that Sherry Papini faked it. Now she's agreed to sign a plea deal admitting that she planned and took part in her own hoax kidnapping, that none of it was true. As a part of the plea deal, she could get 20 years in prison. In a statement to ABC News, Papini saying she is deeply ashamed of herself and that she will work the rest of her life to make amends for what she did. Alex Stone, ABC News.
Twitter's largest shareholder, Elon Musk, is now facing a lawsuit over his purchase over millions of shares of Twitter stock. The class action suit accuses him of delaying filing the proper paperwork as he was buying a 9% share in the company. That delay, the suit says, kept the stock price from rising and cheated some investors out of profits. This is ABC News.
Millions of people use Zoom Phone, the innovative and feature-rich cloud phone system for businesses of any size. Zoom Phone is simple to use, whether you're on a mobile device, desktop, laptop, or desk phone. And because every call is important to your business, Zoom Phone was built with reliability in mind, using geographic redundancy to keep your communications online. Empower your workforce with Zoom Phone. Visit zoom.com/phone system. Zoom, how the world connects.
I'm Sherry Preston, ABC News.
This afternoon, we'll make it into the low to mid 80s with a lot of cloud cover around and breezy conditions on tap. Today will be a lot similar to yesterday. We have a small chance of seeing a few isolated showers. Anything that does develop this afternoon will be quick movers. By tomorrow, showers possible early, showers and thunderstorms by the afternoon and evening, and some could be severe with a cold front moving through. I'm meteorologist Peter Sherwood in the Weather Center.
It's 8:05, and we have 54 degrees on this Hump Day Wednesday morning, but I don't know any better place to spend Wednesday than at Wayne's Lunchbox. Wayne, good morning. How you doing?
Good morning, Jim. How you doing, buddy?
Doing great. Tell me that today is Chicken Pie Day.
Every day on Wednesday, when you go in, it's always going to be chicken pie on Wednesday.
I love it. Love it.
It's just like the roosters crow early in the morning. You can bank on Wednesday we're going to have chicken pie.
That must be because people love it.
Well, that chicken pie is it's definitely one of our favorites. We probably, on any given day, I mean, we serve more chicken pie than we do anything, except maybe for the cube steak on Fridays is really a big one, too. Granted, I won't have it this Friday because we'll be closed for Good Friday and Easter weekend. But cube steak on Fridays probably, if it's not, it's probably a good second because chicken pie is always, people come, they'll get chicken pie with 2 vegetables, and then I think they get an extra order of chicken pie to take home for supper. So,
yeah, sure.
Why not? Go ahead and get your 2 orders while you're there. So, and I had a guy come in, we was talking Monday about my chicken salad.
Yeah.
And, man, we sold out of chicken salad about 1 o'clock on Monday. And one of the guys come up and he's like, man, that's why I came up here to get chicken pie. And he was talking about it on the radio. And I was like, I guess it got out because we had people ordering like a pound or 2 pounds, or I call it a pint and a quart. But the chicken salad's always good. So I had to make some more yesterday. So we got chicken salad along with the chicken pie today.
Well, when you got a good thing, people know about it. They want to spread that word and enjoy it while it's there.
Well, I appreciate everybody that comes by. We've always had a good following, even when I had the cafeteria and all. And, it makes you feel good when you hear people talking about your food and all, because it's always been my passion and love for, food and cooking and all ever since I was little with my, my granny and pawpaw and my Aunt Atlas. Boy, they could really put out a spread of food, that's for sure. So I've been doing it for a long time, and I'm not saying mine's the best, but I just, I love what I do, and I think it shows in our quality of food and our taste of food. So we try to put our best foot forward when we're putting out food. So come on by and try it if you ain't tried something. I try to tell them all the time when they get a hamburger, they get something, add something to it. We've got so many different things that you can do to it. Got several different types of cheese. We've got mushrooms, jalapenos, bacon, throw you a fried egg on it. Just step out of your comfort zone, try something a little different. So, and every once in a while we get a lot of people that do that, and then, they'll come back the next week or the next day and they'll be like, man, fix me one of them burgers like you did last week, Wayne. So, it's good to see people, and especially with our little seating area out there.
Yeah.
This time of year, you can go out there and sit down and enjoy a good lunch and see a lot of people that I'm sure.
On a really nice day, I love to go out there and sit on those benches under that shelter there and just eat.
Yeah.
What's the
Well, we set that thing up too last year. We set it up and we added to it where we put like a actual bar where we have bar stools that we set out now, and you can sit down and a lot of people take advantage of that, especially when it's this type of year. When it gets hot, it gets a little harder on anything, but we got the ceiling fans out there and keep a breeze blowing, and so it's a good place to come sit down. And I'm sure if you sit down there for a while, especially between 11:30 and 12:30, you're going to see somebody that's for sure.
And if it does get a little cool, they can always get some ice cream in there, right?
Well, if it does, like I said, if it gets hot, they can get them some ice cream to cool down. Today our dessert's going to be an apple pie, so I encourage you to heat up that apple pie and put your scoop of ice cream on it. You can't go wrong there. And some people, we've talked about this with several people. I don't know if people have tried it or if you've ever tried it. Heat up a piece of apple pie, put you a piece of cheese on it,
and
then put your scoop of ice cream on it. People think, well, wow, that don't sound good, but it's the mixture of those together are really good. So, heat up a piece of apple pie, put your piece of cheese on it, and then put a scoop of ice cream on it, and then you got something to talk about.
That sounds like a winner. Hey, you say you're going to be closed Friday, right?
Yeah, we'll be closed Friday. I just think that's, with Easter and all, I think that's a good time to take off and spend with family. And I want my staff to, to be able to do stuff for an Easter. I mean, granted, we're closed on the weekends, but, Good Friday and Easter just sort of go hand in hand. Sure. And so we take that Friday off. I always have, even at the big restaurant when I had it. So money is good, but it's not everything.
That's very, very meaningful holiday, so I appreciate you being willing to close down a day for that cause.
Well, I just feel like without, Easter and Christmas and stuff like that, we wouldn't have any of the things that we have. And I think that, taking that day off is special for everybody. And I've always said that, and I've always believed in that. So I don't think that one day is going to make or break me. So I'm going to take it off and enjoy the weekend and reflect back on things that, happened over the years and be thankful for, the things that he's given me and the opportunities over the year to do the things that I get to do. So we're going to have a good weekend this weekend.
Good for you. Wayne, keep up the good work. I appreciate talking with you, and have a good lunch today.
Yes, sir, Jim. You too.
See you now. Wayne Rollins there from Wayne's Lunchbox in Spindale, and you can go out there and have a good lunch today, and every lunch day is good from Wayne's Lunchbox. I'll be back in just a moment with some news from here and there.
Hi, my name is Sam Fender, a retired local police officer. I met Theo several years ago at Bible study. His friendship led me to discover Theo's wealth of experience as a state trooper in problem solving, along with compassion towards those he served. After retiring from the patrol, Theo served as a federal air marshal. When he saw corruption, he fought the federal government and won his whistleblower case. Theo has met with many of you and understands your concerns. His approach to problem solving is professional, accountable, and exactly what Rutherford County needs in a sheriff. Vote for Theo May 17th.
Paid for by Steve Theodoropoulos, Republican for sheriff.
We're being kind today to Darren Lane. Darren's 44, lives in Spindale. He's a supervisor for maintenance at the Rutherford County school system. So happy birthday, Darren, and have many, many more. Be kind to Darren all day today. Those of you see him out and about on that maintenance route, make him feel good about having that job. Now, news from here and there. Arrests have been made in a homicide outside a Shelby bar. Police say they've arrested the man who shot and killed a teenager in the parking lot of a Shelby business Saturday, April 2nd. Roderick Jermaine Young was taken into custody Monday. Sergeant Seth Treadway with the Shelby Police Department said he was arrested without incident. According to Treadway, Young is responsible for shooting and killing 18-year-old Zachary Freeman of Shelby. Young is also accused of shooting another person in the incident that happened at 12:30 a.m. in the parking lot of Scooter's Saloon at 1981 East Dixon Boulevard in Shelby. When Shelby police officers arrived, they found Freeman dead from at least 2 bullet wounds. Another man was found injured at the scene, and a man and a woman who were also hit by bullets had driven themselves to the hospital. None suffered life-threatening injuries, and they were treated at Atrium Health Cleveland in Shelby. Police said early on the investigation that the shootout involved at least 3 different caliber guns, so this case isn't over yet. We do anticipate more arrests and potentially more charges. In an earlier interview with the Star, Shelby Police Chief Jeff Ledford said the gunfire started after an argument outside the establishment. He called the act of using guns to solve a disagreement unacceptable. Though the case still has a while to make it through the court system, Treadway said he hoped Freeman's family finds some comfort in the arrest of a man police say pulled the trigger that took the teen's life. Young, 38, of Shelby, is charged with murder and assault with a deadly weapon inflicting serious injury. He is currently in the Cleveland County Slammer without bond. A story from the Shelby Star. Meanwhile, farmers across the country, including North Carolina, are taking it on the chin when it comes to diesel and fertilizer prices, which have risen to unprecedented levels, according to an article in the Daily Courier written by Teresa Opeka, Carolina Journal. The U.S. is dependent on and a major importer of foreign fertilizer. Factors driving costs up include Russia's war with Ukraine, a limited supply of the relevant minerals and high energy costs, high global demand and agricultural commodity prices, reliance on fertilizer imports, and lack of competition in the fertilizer industry. Meanwhile, the Daily Courier is reporting that Thomas Jefferson Classical Academy's Kimberly Lloyd has been chosen as a finalist for the 2022 North Carolina Association for Scholastic Activities Scholastic Director of the Year Award. Lloyd has many roles at TJ. She is the Director of Student Advising and Enrichment, a world languages instructor, and the coach of the school's champion high school academic team. Upper Campus Principal Diana Briggs said Lloyd's impact is felt by many. As far as working with students go, Lloyd says the gratification is limitless. Lloyd will be recognized at the Metrographics Printing North Carolina Showcase in May on the campus of UNC Greensboro. Congratulations to Kimberly Lloyd. Meanwhile, Daily Courier is also reporting, Scott Carpenter is reporting that for 30 years, Sally Smith taught 7th grade math in Rutherford County schools and retired in 2015. She didn't think that one day she would be growing worms and selling worm castings, but that's exactly what she's doing through her Green Hill Worm Farm. The farm is located just west of Rutherfordton in the Green Hill community. Sally has 2 large bins that are 4 feet wide, 16 feet long, and 2 feet long, along with several smaller ones. There she grows red wigglers. These worms produce excrement, which is called castings, that is being used more and more by individuals for their personal gardens as well as professional commercial farms. Perhaps surprisingly, the one thing that Smith says that worm castings don't have is a foul odor. There's no strong smell. It's more like a faint smell of a forest floor. Those in the worm casting business don't use the term fertilizer, partly because of its association with harsh chemicals. Worm castings are considered as a plant amendment and something that can be added to your plants to help them grow stronger. So there you go. Congratulations to Sally Smith on her worm farm. Sheriff's Report with Sergeant Brandel is coming up here in just a moment.
Hello, I'm Aaron Ellenberg, candidate for sheriff for Rutherford County. As part of having my law enforcement career deeply rooted in Rutherford County, I have seen firsthand the needs for our county. My plan is achievable. Expand a drug education program that is taught from elementary to high school, help implement a nonprofit drug rehab facility supported by spiritual and community guidance, and partner with resources already in place. Increase patrol officers to reduce crime and response time. Enhance the narcotic division resources to reduce drug-related crime. Increase community policing to ensure positive relationships. Vote Aaron Ellenberg, Republican candidate for sheriff. Together we can make a difference. Paid for by committee to elect Ellenberg sheriff.
Let me introduce you to Brock Family Care, a direct primary care practice that takes care of the patients and not the insurance company. Providing flat rate pricing and not accepting any forms of health insurance allows for more personalized and affordable health care. Ann Brock has over 42 years of health care experience and 22 years as a nurse practitioner. She and her staff are dedicated to providing health care that is patient-centered and not insurance company dictated. They give the patient the time and the attention they need. What are your medical needs? Bring them to Brock Family Care and see the difference. And also offers telehealth appointments. The professional staff are dedicated and will take the time to find out how they can help you. To learn more about this wonderful medical service, go to the website at www.brockfamilycare.com. That's Brock Family Care, 289 Shallow Road, Forest City.
Enjoy a taste of the Orient from the delicious buffet at the Dragon Palace Chinese Restaurant. You can enjoy all your favorite dishes plus a whole lot more. Friendly service and professional staff ready to make your dining experience a truly great one. Open Tuesday through Sunday, 11 until 9, closed on Mondays. They do have party rooms available if you have an upcoming event. Call the Dragon Palace at 287-5707. The Dragon Palace, 115 Ryan Drive in Forest City.
You need an insurance agent you can talk to? Call Insurance Service Associates at 828-245-5301. We want to help you get the best out of your insurance dollar. As a trusted choice independent agent, we shop your coverage with several companies to give you the best value. More companies, better choices, best rate. Come see us at our new office at 245 East Main Street in Forest City or call us at 828-245-5301. 245-5301.
Hi, my name's Jake Johnson, and I'm running for North Carolina House District 113. If elected to represent you in the legislature, I will continue fighting for the lives of the unborn, defending our Second Amendment rights, cutting taxes and regulation, securing our elections, and standing up for veterans and law enforcement. Remember to vote Jake Johnson for North Carolina House in this year's Republican primary. Thank you and God bless. Paid for by the committee to elect Jake Johnson.
Now, many of you love yard sales, and I know a bunch of you enjoy Anchor Down because it's kind of like an indoor yard sale, except much of the merchandise is new. And listen to this: clothes and shoes, 50 cents, pocketbooks, $2. Anchor Down carries small kitchen appliances, electronics, furniture. Most things are $5 or less, with the exception of antiques and furniture, of course. There are deals all over the store. They got a new load every week, and sure, you may have to step over an item to get to another room, but that's part of the fun of browse shopping. Anchor Down is located at 155 West Main Street, downtown Forest City, right across from Carolina Chiropractic. Anchor Down is open Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday from 10 until 3. Today's Wednesday, so they're open at 10 o'clock today until 3. Come see for yourself what an exciting adventure it is to shop at Anchor Down, 155 West Main Street in Forest City. Sergeant Brandel gave us the report from the Sheriff's Department this morning, and here it is.
Past 24 hours, the Rutherford County Sheriff's Office has answered 137 calls, processed 14 arrests, and currently have 176 incarcerated. Under our arrest reports, we have a Coral Hudson, 44-year-old white female, Boston, was charged with first-degree trespassing and misdemeanor larceny, given a $500 unsecured bond. We have a Jamie Harrison Airwood, 36-year-old white male of Morrisboro, was charged with breaking and entering and larceny after breaking and entering, given a $20,000 secured bond. We have a Carlos David Steep, the second, 36-year-old white male of Boston, was charged with burning personal property and assault on a female. Given no bond on that, he'll see district court judge today. And we have a Robert Gene Sisk, 33-year-old white male of Far City, was charged with one count of felony larceny of a motor vehicle, given a $20,000 secured bond. We have Brandy Mode from Lookout Drive in Far City reported a breaking and entering and larceny. Looks like someone broke in her residence and took a fish tank and the stand that goes with it. And we have a Jacqueline Carpenter from Hornbottom Road in Far City reported a breaking and entering. No items listed at this time. I think are pending inventory. So that's all we have this morning.
Come join us April 16th for a spaghetti supper, followed by a performance by 33 1/3 Bluegrass Band featuring David Lauder and crew at the Union Mills Learning Center. Starting at 4 p.m., we will start serving spaghetti with dessert. Servings will continue while supplies last or end at 5:45 p.m. 33 1/3 Band will take the stage at 6, and they will play until 8. Sheriff candidate Aaron Ellenberg will be there to meet you. Donations will be accepted and will go toward the committee to elect Aaron Ellenberg for sheriff. That's the Union Mills Learning Center, 6495 Hudlow Road in Union Mills.
Hey, bosses, listen to me. It's time to nominate your secretary or administrative assistant in the annual WCAB Secretary's Day promotion. Send her name and the company name to WCAB no later than April 25th. You can send it via fax to 828-287-7182 or email it to me, Jim Bishop, at nctv.com, or mail it to the Post Office Box 511, Rutherfordton, 28139, or bring it by the studio at 191 Whiteside Road, Rutherfordton. The drawing will be taking place during the morning show April 27th. The selected 10 will go to lunch with me on Friday, the 29th, and showered with flowers and gifts. She's counting on you, boss. Don't disappoint her.
At Smith Drugs of Forest City, we are continue to offer the COVID-19 rapid testing and the COVID-19 vaccinations. Please call our pharmacy at 828-245-4591 with any questions or concerns that you may have. You may also visit our website at smithsdrugsfc.com and schedule your COVID rapid 19 test or your vaccination. Again, if you have any questions, please call our pharmacy at 828-245-4591.
Smith Drugs of Forest City is offering the flu vaccines. You can walk in Monday through Friday or by appointment only on Saturdays. The Dream Station and System 1 CPAP customers, if you need assistance registering your recall devices, you can call the Home Medical Department at 245-4591. And Smith Drugs has a large selection of in-stock mastectomy bras, now half price. So come by our Home Equipment Department on West Main Street in Forest City. Smith Drugs, 245-4591.
He is. He doesn't look like a young kid. You want him to take it in, to be honest with you. You should be enjoying it and your moments that you get, and then go out and do your job, and that's what he did.
Jordan Stahl scored to notch his 8th point in his last 5 games, and Sebastian Aho added an empty netter to seal the deal for Carolina 4-2. The win widens the Canes' lead in the Metro Division now to 4 points over New York with 8 games left until the playoffs. Next up for Carolina, Detroit tomorrow night. In the NBA, the Charlotte Hornets will go against the Hawks tonight in Atlanta in a 9-10 Eastern Conference play-in game. It is a matchup that is about as close as even as you can get. The Southeast Division rivals split their 4 head-to-head meetings, both teams posting a 43-39 regular season record. The Hornets 115.3 average points per game during the regular season, slightly better than Atlanta's 113.9. Tonight's game is in Atlanta as the Hawks had the better divisional record, 9-7, versus the Hornets, 8-8. About as close to even as you can get. Hornets coach James Borrego, though, says he's not looking at the microscopic details of the matchup.
The goal here is not to overcomplicate it, make it more than what it is. It's a basketball game. Keep it simple, stay aggressive, and, be who we are. Trust our identity.
The winner of tonight's play-in opener will play the Nets on Friday night to determine who will face the Eastern Conference top seed Miami in the first round. This is NCN Sports.
April is Fair Housing Month, and North Carolina's 56,000 realtors proudly honor our commitment to ensure everyone gets a fair chance in today's housing market. From the country crossroads to urban centers, realtors across North Carolina are working to open doors to anyone who is striving to attain the American dream of owning their own home. We believe fairness is worth fighting for because that's who we are. Paid for by North Carolina Realtors.
The booster is important because we want to make sure you have all the armor that you can possibly have for protection against the coronavirus.
This is literally something that we have 2 years and more of data to say that it works.
Having a booster shot is more effective at keeping people out of the hospital.
It is protecting people from dying. It is protecting people from getting extremely ill.
You have a spot.
Take your shot.
Everyone 5 and older can get a COVID-19 vaccine. Visit myspot.nc.gov.
NBA action last night in the play-in tournament. Kyrie Irving had 34 points and 12 assists, while Kevin Durant had 25 and 11 helpers as the Brooklyn Nets beat Cleveland 115-108 in their play-in opener. Anthony Edwards and D'Angelo Russell combined for 59 points to lead the Minnesota Timberwolves past the Clippers 109-104 in their play-in game. Edwards and Russell helped the Wolves overcome a rough night for Karl Anthony Towns to get to the number 7 seed in the Western Conference playoffs. The Atlanta Hawks never expected to be in this position, not only after last summer's surprising run to the conference final, but here they are needing to win 2 play-in games just to make the playoffs. They've got the Charlotte Hornets tonight. New Orleans Pelicans.
This afternoon, we'll make it into the low to mid-80s with a lot of cloud cover around and breezy conditions on tap. Today will be a lot similar to yesterday. We have a small chance of seeing a few isolated showers. Anything that does develop this afternoon will be quick movers. By tomorrow, showers possible early, showers and thunderstorms by the afternoon and evening, and some could be severe with a cold front moving through. I'm meteorologist Peter Sherwood in the Weather Center.
Currently, we're 55 degrees, warming up nicely to into the 70s, almost 80 degrees today, 79 for a high, but that wind, south wind to 10 miles per hour, gusting to 22 miles per hour. Beautiful day in the neighborhood today. It's 8:30. This is WCAB in Rutherfordton, serving the foothills of the Carolinas. It's time now for the Word of Faith Fellowship radio program. And with the program today is Mary Back and Allison Dolan.
Good morning, Rutherford County. You are listening to the Word of Faith Fellowship radio program. My name is Mary, and I'm here with my dear friend Allison. And we wanted to come to you this morning and share with you our testimony and what God has done in our lives, how He joined us together when we were very young, 12 years old. We've been friends for almost 37 years. And He joined us together, and He plucked us out of the world and out of the path of destruction for our lives and put us right in His will. And I want to share with you a scripture to start off. If you have your Bibles, turn to Ephesians chapter 1, verse 4. It says, "Even as in His love, He chose us, actually picked us out for Himself as His own, in Christ before the foundation of the world." And I want to stop right there. God has chosen each one of us to serve Him before the foundation of the world. He knew you, He knew me, He knew my friend Allison. He handpicked us. He has chosen us to be His minister. That we should be holy, consecrated, and set apart for Him. He wants us to be blameless and set apart. We have not been called to walk in the world. We've been called to walk as ministers with Jesus. And blameless in His sight, even above reproach, before Him in love. Verse 5 says, "For He foreordained us, destined, planned in love for us to be adopted as His own children." He has destined us and planned us to be His children. And growing up, I did not know that. I did not know that there was a call of God on my life. Allison did not know that she had a call of God on her life. And I want to start by sharing my testimony because I grew up in a small town. I was born in Buffalo, New York. I lived in that area until I was about 18. I had a stable household. I had a mother and a father who loved me very dearly. I have a younger brother. I had a very, very good childhood. Every Sunday we went to church. We went to a Methodist church. That's where I grew up. And I really liked going to that church. I remember learning a lot about God. And there was a youth program there. I did a youth program there. And the only thing was I didn't know that I could have a personal relationship with Jesus. I did not know that. And you've got to realize that. Even as a child, you can know Jesus. You can have a personal relationship with God. And so growing up, I went to this church. And I was in a public school. Allison and I were in a public school. And I remember growing up, and I had a really hard time in public school. It was very difficult for me. I was picked on constantly. One thing that I can think of is when I was in the 5th grade, I wore a pair of pants to school that had a horse on the back pocket. And I was mocked and scoffed and laughed at for these pants that I had on. I was really picked on for these pants. Well, they ended up being Jordache jeans, if any of you know what those were. And before the end of the year, every young person and every girl in that school wanted a pair of those jeans. But I was made fun of. It was very hard for me. And I know Allison and I talk very often about the fact that we are so grateful that we did not grow up with a cell phone in our hand. Yes. We didn't know there was no social media back then in the 70s and 80s. I didn't have Facebook. We didn't have Twitter. We didn't have Snapchat. So grateful that that was not a part of our life, because there was already that social pressure in public school to be somebody. And the older that I got, it got worse in my life. Like I said, I was picked on. I was constantly feeling rejected. And the competition with your friends. You want to be the prettiest. You want to be the best. You want to be the smartest. There was a lot of that going on. And so I remember in the 7th grade, Allison and her family moved to my town, and we became instant friends. And one reason for that was I was the tallest girl in the class up until she came. We were the tallest girls in the class, and we just hit it off immediately. We really became good friends. And so throughout high school, I had other friends. She had other friends. We were busy doing, different things. We did play some sports together. But my life started to really change the older that I got. I started having relationships that were not good. I started listening to a lot of music, a lot of different music, a lot of bad music. Some of the songs that I listened to, the lyrics were very bad. And music became my idol. It was my way of dealing with my rejection that I had and the competition that I had with certain girls. And I ended up, as a senior, I ended up in a relationship with a guy that I thought I was going to marry. And he was a year older than me, so he went away to college, came home over Christmas break, and he broke up with me. And I was devastated. I was so heartbroken. And one of the things that I did, of course, I did not have a relationship with God. I did not know that I could cry out to Jesus. Yes, I was in church, but I did not know I could cry out to Jesus. And so I was devastated. And what I decided to do was push all those feelings down and deal with it myself. And I decided I was not going to be hurt by anybody else. I was not. Nobody was going to tell me what to do. I was going to do whatever I wanted to do, and I was not going to be hurt again. And I do want to say that when I was about 12 or 13, my mother had an experience with God, and we started going to a different church. We started going to a non-denominational church. And I didn't know until I got there that Allison went to that church and that her family was in leadership there. And my mom's life started to change, and she started to take my brother and myself to church. We would go to Sunday school, and I liked it, but I was not ready to give my heart to Jesus. I was not to that point of really wanting to serve God. Yes, that church was different from the Methodist church. They did teach different things, but I was not ready to totally surrender. And at this point, when I became a senior and I was hurt by this guy that I was in a relationship with, my life totally went downhill. I became a different person. I started to become very rebellious. I started to want to do things that a young lady should not be doing. And it was because I was devastated. I was hurt, but I wasn't going to allow myself to be hurt again. And so one of the major things that happened when we were seniors was I started, of course, I was close to Allison, but when we were seniors, we started working together, and we became even closer then. And of course, her family, her dad and I became close as well. And one of the things that happened was on spring break, Allison's family was going to go to Florida to go to the beach. And I think it was like a two-week trip. Yes. I think it was a 2-week trip. And so, but I was not invited to go. It was just going to be her family. Well, I think I somehow mentioned that I really wanted to go because I wanted to go to the beach. I'd never been to a Florida beach. I thought it would be great. And so Allison somehow managed to invite me to come, and her family was okay with it. And so, but on the way down there, we were going to stop and visit her uncle, who was a youth pastor at a church in a small town of Leland, North Carolina. And she told me we were going to stop there to visit him, and then we were going to continue on to Florida. Well, that didn't bother me. I thought, well, that's fine. I can meet her family or whatever. We can go to church. That's fine. I was all about going to the beach, okay? So what ended up happening was we went on the trip. We get down there. I meet her family, and we went to church. Oh, I need to back up. I forgot to tell this part. This is a very important part. Her father told me before we left to go on the trip that if I went with them, that my life was going to change. It would never be the same. Now, as a young person, very tormented at this point, I was so hopeless, it felt like in my heart, that I had no way to change. I was hurt and devastated. I used my music as an idol to drown out all my hurt and my pain. I was devastated. I was hopeless. There was no hope for me. But when he said those words to me, they went in my heart. I didn't even realize the magnitude of what he was saying to me. But he said, your life will change. You will never be the same. So my interest was piqued, but I wasn't sure what he meant. But it went in my heart. His words went in my heart. And really it was God speaking through him to me.
He was getting your heart ready.
He was preparing my heart, because what happened to me it was a total life change. It was a heart change really for both of us. So do you want to say something?
Yes, let me interject some things here so we can kind of bring the story together, because really it is such a miracle what God has done. When I think back about 2 17-year-old girls that went from living in the world to surrendering to God and beginning to walk with him, to even where we are today. I mean, still learning to walk with God, but it's a miracle that he pulled us out. We both had plans of our own. We had paths that we were very rapidly going down that God totally turned around. And I mean, I'm forever grateful for all that he's done for me. Just a quick, background about myself. I was born in West Virginia. I had mom and a dad, a younger brother, just like Mary. And through a course of events, my dad, with his job, moved to Western New York, and we moved several times. And in, I believe it was 1984, 85, he got transferred to a small town in Western New York where Mary lived at the time. And when I was young, my family went to the Catholic Church. That's both sides of my family were Catholic. Then somewhere in the late 70s, early 80s, my parents got involved in what was called the Charismatic Catholic movement. And they broke out of the Catholic Church and they began to go to more non-denominational churches. One of them was actually called Word of Faith Fellowship. It was a very small church in the country. And so I had been exposed to different churches and more of a charismatic, like Pentecostal type church. And we always went to church, always. Well, when we moved to this small town, Westfield, New York, that's where we grew up, there was a Catholic church, Baptist, Methodist, all the denominations. The only church that was similar to what we had been in before was an Assembly of God church. So that was the church that my parents felt like at the time that we were supposed to be a part of. So my dad had a good job. My mom stayed at home and raised us. Actually, the first 6 months when we moved to Westfield, because we had been in a very small private Christian school prior to that, we were homeschooled for the first half of my 7th grade year, my brother's 5th grade year. And then they got involved in some business things, and it was the best plan to send us to public school. And I had not been in a public school for quite a while. It was scary for lack of a better word, because you didn't know anybody. And like Mary said, it was full of the world, and we didn't know how to ask Jesus to help us and how to reach out to people ourselves. So halfway through my 7th grade year, I started public school. That was where I met Mary. We had a very small class, and we were very close-knit, but lots of sin because we didn't know Jesus. I went to church on Sunday, sometimes Sunday night, sometimes Wednesday night, and the rest of the time, I was a Christian in name only. And so my parents, my dad had a good job, like I said. My brother and I got along fairly well. My parents never fought in front of us. But as time goes on, when you don't have a true relationship with Jesus, then you can't continue to walk acting like you do. It is either real or it's not. And so through a series of events, my parents bought into a business, and then my mom had to go away for training. And when she came back, while she was gone, she got into some sin. And I didn't know it at the time. I was 15, 16 years old. But I was just living my life, having relationships, like Mary said, very involved in music, very involved in things at my school, involved in church, but no one there really was crying out to God. So about that time, about 1989, 90, my parents separated. And I would say that it was probably the first devastating thing that had ever happened to me. Everything in my life was like your proverbial white picket fence. We had a nice house, never lacked for anything. We weren't extravagant by any means, but we had what we needed. And there was never a thought that things were not always going to be just the way that they were. And then in one afternoon, things were not the way that they had been, and it was never the same. And I'll never forget that day because so much happened, but what I did not do that thankfully I know to do now when the devil throws any attack your way is cry out to Jesus. And I did not cry out to Jesus that day. I was 16. My mom said that she was going to be moving out. My dad was devastated. My brother was 14. He was very young. And all that I did was I ran away from God. I did not run to him. I ran away from him. And it was at the end of my junior year. Things transpired. She moved out. We went on with life as children do and trying to adjust our lives to this new situation. And many times I've thought about how much God is there for us, how he's so faithful to us at every point. Yes. And when I go back to that time of my life, I went into my senior year. I was the senior class president. I was very involved in student government. We knew everybody in our class. We knew everybody in classes above and below us because it was so small and a very small town. And I can tell you everything that I did during that time, but I cannot tell you how I felt inside because I don't know that I did feel because I pushed everything down. Everything was just a blur as far as feeling. And I always think about that because of how much feeling God has in our hearts, how much love, how much peace, how much compassion, and how I feel that now that I'm walking with Jesus. And back then I didn't. And that's such a landmark for me. I'm so grateful to God for that. So all that was going on inside of me. And so that whole time my feeling was shut down. And as we went about life, like Mary said, it was time for our senior spring break of our senior year. And my dad was really trying to take hold of my brother and I because we were so hurt, very hurt, wounded on the inside. And he, my uncle, who's been on this radio program before, he was an associate pastor at a small town on the coast of North Carolina, near Wilmington. And so when everything happened with my parents, my uncle and his pastor at the time really started taking hold of my dad, praying for him. They had some speakers at their church, and my dad came down for several weekends, and they prayed for him and just really began to cry out to God and pray for him because he was so wounded. So he would try to impart some of those things to me, but I didn't want to hear it. I was wounded. It was much easier for me to turn to the world and what was quote unquote security, what I knew, than to be open and let that wound be healed. And so the time came for our trip, and which we were excited about. And I remember telling Mary, well, we're going to go to this church. We'll be there for over the weekend. And, we'll just kind of basically, let's just get through it so we can get to Florida. And that was really my attitude, which was terrible. But
I felt that way too. I just wanted to go to the beach.
We were just living in the world.
Yeah.
And so this is one thing I've got to tell you. When you start to make steps, even though we had the wrong idea about what was going on, the devil knew that we were getting ready to experience God. And
he did.
This one story that I will never forget this. We lived in Western New York. I mean, you hear about Buffalo and blizzards and snow. So it's about February or March, and we've got all these plans for going to the beach, and we're going to go to the mall and go shopping. 2 17-year-olds. We did not live under authority with our parents. We did not inquire of God about what to do. So we decided we were going to take off to the mall, which was about 20 miles away, down in Erie, Pennsylvania. And so we took off, and it's very important, this story, because of how much God saved our lives. We were driving in a minivan down this 2-lane was 2 lanes one way and 2 lanes the other way highway. Black ice. We had only been driving for a year. We had our license. There was no reason that we needed to be doing what we were doing.
Exactly.
And we were going down the road, and not fast, and the highway had a little dip. And as we touched the brakes, there was a semi behind us. As we touched the brakes, the black ice spun our minivan around so that we were now facing backwards, but on the side of the road. If we had stopped, that semi would have come straight into us because it was close, even though it was going slow. So that was shook us up.
Yes.
I mean, it was quick, but it shook us up. And we sat there for a minute and regrouped, and like foolish 17-year-old girls, we decided we were going to get back on the road and go to the mall. And what happened was we sat there for, 5 minutes or something like that. We got back on the road, and within our sights, as we got back into that flow of traffic, there was like an overpass down the ways. Moments before we got back on the road, there was like a 35-car pileup. I mean, the road was closed. We had to cross the median, and we did not see at the time. But God, we would have been in the middle of that, destroyed. And we were so grateful to God because we saw the goodness of God, the protection of God in our lives, because God knew He had a plan for us, and we were going to fulfill it.
That's right.
So that was the first, in looking back, I didn't see it at the time, like I said, but in looking back, I see how faithful God has been to us.
Very faithful. Yes,
so
very faithful.
Do you want to go on about this?
So I remember we get down to Leland, and I met her uncle, and we obviously went to a church service. So one thing Allison had told me was that they pray, and they pray very loud. Well, I didn't really know what that meant. I've prayed before, but not necessarily loud, but I didn't know what to expect. So we walked through the doors, and they were praying. Everybody was praying. And it was loud prayer, and it was strong. And I loved it. There was nothing in me that didn't like it. I loved it. I wanted to know what they were praying for. I was getting excited. I was a little nervous, but I was getting excited. Like, what are they doing? Well, then the church service started, and we're singing. And there were all these young people there. They were singing, and they were dancing. And some of them were preaching.
They were excited about serving God.
I have never seen that before. I mean, the churches that I was raised in, I don't think you clapped. I'm not sure what we did, but it was very quiet. And this was totally opposite. But I saw young people that wanted to serve God, and they sang with all their might, and they preached, and they prayed with everything that was in them. I loved it from the time we walked in through the doors. And I think you did too this time.
So we stayed for the few days, and then we went on to our extension in Florida.
Yes, we did.
And we were supposed to stay there for a week with my dad, my brother, Mary, and I. And we got down there, and Mary and I, and my brother too, really, started to beg my dad, please, can we go back to Leland? Leland, North Carolina was where my uncle's church was.
And let me stop here, because that is a miracle. I mean, especially for me, I was so worldly. All I wanted was the world. I wanted to be there. I wanted to go to the ocean. I wanted to do the things that you do at the ocean. But my heart had changed in a few days, just a few short days. I wanted to go back to that church. We had made friends there. I wanted to go back for a church service. I did not want to be at the ocean. That was a miracle. I mean, only God could have done that. God changed my heart. And so we did. We begged for him to take us back there, and we went. We did go. We went back. We cut our Florida trip short, and we drove back up to Leland. I think we stayed a few more days.
We stayed a few more days.
days.
And during that time, the few days that we stayed, we had more like meetings with the youth group, and that was the first time that we actually, somebody prayed for me. And I'll never forget that, because a group of our newfound friends, my uncle, we sat down together and we just started to cry out to God for help. I needed help. And for the first time, after all those months, at least a year or more, of my heart being totally shut down after my parents had separated and I was so devastated, I was finally able to cry out to Jesus and literally weep before him, and he started to heal those wounds that were in my heart. And if you've ever had divorce in your life, if you've ever had a separation yourself or with parents, it is a deep wound if you don't go to God. And I began the path of restoration in that area, and it was a lot of years of healing, but it was the beginning. And I raised my head up out of where I was crying out to God, and I felt so different on the inside. I've never experienced a change like that. That was the beginning. And one thing led to the next, where we came back home and we were new creatures.
We were.
We didn't want to do the things that we had done before. We didn't want to listen to the music that we had listened to. We didn't want to go the places that we had gone. And so now here we are in our senior year. I'm supposed to go away to a college in Pennsylvania.
I was going to a college in New York.
And we both had these plans, and all of a sudden we were beginning to know God had a different plan for us. We didn't know what it was then, but we knew that something had changed in our hearts.
Something had changed, definitely.
So we finished up our senior year. We found out that the week that we graduated on June 24th, 1991. And beginning on the next day, there was going to be a youth seminar at this church, our church, the Word of Faith Fellowship. And my uncle, by this point, his church on the coast of North Carolina was involved with our church now, Word of Faith. And they had come to a seminar or two by that time, and he invited us to come. And so we had our graduation service. We packed up my dad's minivan, the two of us, and my brother, and we drove from Western New York to Spindale, North Carolina. And we went to that seminar that week, and again, that was our first time here. And to another level, we felt the love of God. We felt the
presence of God.
And how much he had a plan for our life that we never knew he had before. And so,
and really it was then for me, when we first came to the church here, that I saw, once again, young people. It was a youth seminar, so it was all about youth. It was all about the young people. And I saw where the young people, they preached, they prayed, strong ministers of God. I'd never seen that. Once again, never seen that before. The presence of God was so strong there. And it was then, I know for me, I started crying out to God for the will of God for my life. I didn't know what that meant. I didn't know what I was even doing, but I started to say, Jesus, not my will, but your will be done. And that's a miracle. It was a miracle for me to cry that out, to want to know what the will of God was, to pray like that, because we were going to college and we were set to do certain things, and God came in and he totally changed our plans.
He did. And it looks like we're about out of time.
We are.
But I think that we're going to come back to the next program and we'll continue our testimony. We really, really are grateful that you listened today. And we are on the radio every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 8:30 to 9 on WCAB. Or you can listen to all of our past programs on wordoffaithfellowship.org. And have a great day, and we love you very much.
Thank you.
The music's on us on WCAB.
From ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. 10 shot, more than a dozen others hurt in the chaos, and the man police want to question about the subway shooting in Brooklyn, New York yesterday is still on the loose. His name is Frank James. He's 62 years old. He had rented a U-Haul found near the scene. ABC News Chief Law and Justice Correspondent Pierre Thomas.
Why Mr. James is a person of interest is because they found a key associated with the U-Haul tied to him. There's a credit card associated with him as well. So they can't call him a suspect because they can't yet place him in that subway station. Can you tie him, for example, to the recovered gun? Fingerprints. Can you tie him to fingerprints on the smoke devices?
Police say the gunman opened that smoke canister while on board the subway train, then began shooting. Robert Boyce is former chief of detectives at the NYPD.
What I think really is incredible here, he tried to fit in looking like a regular working person going to work. Hard hat, in his construction clothes. Very strange with that bag of different items in it.
In that bag, found at the scene, commercial-grade fireworks, a hatchet, and loaded magazines. If the gunman's gun had not jammed, police say it could have been much worse. As the war in Ukraine drags on, the U.S. is sending more money and weapons to the country to fight the Russians.
The new aid package, it could come as early as today. We're talking about as much as $750 million. Things like